The last day of the year. For me, it's been a brilliant year. I've loved this year. It's been one of my favorites in my life. I think that's true for Ash as well. One of the things that people do at the end of the year is resolutions for the new year. I am not a fan of resolutions, or revolutions for that matter. People, they're sure this is the year you're going to be disciplined enough, motivated enough to go to that gym 3 days a week, to do that yoga, to lose that weight, get in that weight loss program, or all those other things. And so you sign up, and these gyms and yo-yo studios love it. And they can sign up more people than they can handle because they know by February, that'll be that. So I'm here to recommend today intention. Because intention's like a North Star. You set an intention, and then what you do is it's there, and you follow it sometimes, you don't follow it, but it's there, and you know it's there because you hold that intention clear. And by the end of the year, you've at least followed it some, so it's been better. And better is better. So intention is really more powerful than resolution because resolutions, if you don't go through with them, you feel like a failure. But intentions, anything you did towards it works. Right? All right. So what I'd like to do is invite you to look at an intention of awakening consciousness. Awakening consciousness is the greatest medicine on the planet. It is better than any drug ever invented, any meditation, any singularity practice. Awakening consciousness comes with these side effects of more peace, more joy, more loving, more freedom. Freedom from stress, freedom from anxiety, more health and well-being, and more certainty of following your soul's intention. All these benefits from one action, awakening consciousness, the greatest medicine on the planet. It doesn't matter what you've been through, where you're going. Man, I've done so many different things, but those things that have led to an awakened consciousness, that have really worked for that, anybody who's had an experience of even a moment of that knows what I'm talking about, knows what it feels like in that moment. And the beauty about this particular focus and intention is that you know when you're not doing it. The road marks along the way are exacting. When you're not doing it, you don't feel more peace. You don't feel more joy in that moment. You don't feel more loving. You don't feel more compassion. You're upset. You're stressed out. And you can go, oh, I must not be in an awakened consciousness state right now. And some of you might be saying, well, with all that's going on in the world, how can I, through awakened consciousness, experience more joy? Have you ever seen a picture of Mother Teresa's face? The joy, the glow that she radiates. And she did that in the midst of service in one of the most horrific places on earth. But through her awakened consciousness, She could give in a way that still was so full of joy, love, and light. And maybe you're saying, well, I've had all this trauma. I need to go through the trauma first before I can get to an awakened consciousness state. And then there's my hero, Palden Gyatso, tortured by the Chinese for 33 years. I know you guys many of you have heard me talk about him before. Talk about trauma. This guy was beaten, burned, cattle prod stuck in his mouth almost every day for 33 years. And when the Dalai Lama asked him after 33 years, how did you do it? How did you get through this? He said, because the only thing I focused on was love. Not what they were doing to my body. Not that I was imprisoned. The Dalai Lama calls him the most awakened, enlightened guy on the planet after 33 years of being tortured. And I'm thinking, if he can do it, because I don't know anybody here who's had that level of trauma. And I'm not belittling whatever trauma you've had. That isn't the point here. The point here is that they're really the cure, the true cure to everything that's going on this planet is awakened consciousness, more peace, more joy, more loving, more compassion, more freedom from stress and anxiety, more certainty of following your soul's intention. A woman named Ananta Kranti, thrown into a Thailand prison, beaten every day, put to work till she dropped, and never told how long they were going to keep her for. And she suffered until she awakened. And then all of a sudden, what she was experiencing was the joy of the sunrise and the compassion towards the prison guards who she recognized as being in a deeper prison than she was, even though she was the one in the cell. Your experience shifts, transforms, changes. More health, more well-being when your consciousness awakens. It's the greatest cure on the planet. You see everything differently, even if nothing's changed. And yet everything's changed. It has for me. I was beaten a lot as a kid. I remember this one time when I was 6, I was beaten so bad by the maid that I was bleeding. When my parents came home, I went and showed them the welts and the bruises and the bleeding on my body. And my dad said, "I'm sure you deserved it." Trauma. By the time I was 12, I had a disease, and the doctors were telling my parents that I was the youngest person who ever had that disease. And so they could get free medical care if they would allow for all these, student doctors to parade through and take a look and be part of my process. And because I was a kid, all the instruments they had were adult size, and they were really sorry for the pain it was going to cause. Trauma. From the age of 12 until into my 20s, I had to go to the bathroom 16 to 18 times a day. Leaving the apartment was always trauma-filled because I had no idea what was going to happen that day. When the urgency hit me to go, I had minutes. During those formative years. And I'm sharing this with you because I stand before you today feeling like I'm one of the luckiest guys on the planet. Through all that. And that's the thing about it. That's the most amazing part. That's how I wake up every day and go, oh my God, my life is amazing. And what I did was work on awakening my consciousness. In whatever ways I could find that might help do that. More peace, more joy, more loving, more contentment, more freedom. Ash used to talk about how anxious a person I was when we met. I don't feel any of that anymore. This summer, when I was in the hospital, and I've told you this before, is, there was the moment came when they were telling me I wasn't going to make it to the next day. My brother David, who is very big on data and statistics, called me up a couple days ago to say, I've checked all the data and statistics. Number one, given how sick you were, you should not have lived. And number two, there is no data for how quickly you recovered. There's no data, nobody does that. What we embody manifests. And what I want to embody is an awakened consciousness, because I notice as more that I do that, things happen that people keep telling me, nobody does that. Nobody gets to do that. It's not a direct road. So there I am in the hospital, and they're telling me about how, I'm probably not going to see the next day. And I'm sitting there in this perfect state of awakened consciousness. Peaceful, joyous, loving, compassionate. I'm feeling all those things, right? Sitting in the hospital being told I might not make it the next day. This past week, I was vacuuming and the vacuum cleaner broke down, and I was not in an awakened consciousness state. I'm like, oh, they tell me I'm going to die and I'm awakened consciousness. My freaking vacuum cleaner, that's what throws me off. And it's like that, right? That's what we're doing all the time, is dealing with everyday life. And so it's not like you awaken and then that's it, right? We get to have these moments, but then we don't. And when we don't, the beauty of it is we have all these signposts to remind us that this is a moment in which we are not awakened. And so then we get to work. We get to use that signpost. I did. It was only a few moments before maybe more than a few moments, but it wasn't that long before all of a sudden I'm just laughing at myself hysterically. Oh, look, this is what threw me off. And I got it fixed and working again. But that's what we're doing, right? It's that work of awakening consciousness, holding that intention, taking that intention into whatever it is we're doing on any given day, at any given moment. Not saying, oh, well, in this moment, what's more important is that I get this job done. I make this money. And then, and forget that all that happens in a much more powerful manner when we're willing to put awakening consciousness first. All of a sudden, there are possibilities that were unimaginable. That you didn't even get. I've had so many things in my life happen that never even dawned on me. Being here in Canada is one of them. So we're constantly have the opportunity, presented with the opportunity, every moment of every day to go, are we going to live in the dream of that somebody has victimized us? Our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, says to abandon the truth in your hour of need is to not understand the truth. And I think that happens all the time, that I see people who really don't understand the depth and power and presence of when we put the awakening consciousness first. They're like, no, man, what's going on here? This is what's real. This is what's real. Of course I'm suffering. Anybody would suffer. I have all these good reasons for my suffering. Have you ever done that? Come up with all the good reasons why you are suffering? Or am I the only one? You know, this is our opportunity that we have all the time, every day, every moment, is to come forth with that which is greater in us. To remind ourselves that if I'm suffering, this is not a moment of awakened consciousness. If I'm feeling a little bit more peaceful, but still not trusting in the depth of my soul, if I have doubt, if I have fear, those are not moments of awakened consciousness. If I think to heal, what I need to do is go through a process of forgiveness, that is not a moment of awakened consciousness. Because who's there to forgive if you totally understand that what you embody manifests? And the thing about this is these aren't just high, holy concepts. For me, they're what actually happens on a daily basis that impact the reality that I experience in my life. So I'm not up here just touting to you some, hooey thoughts. This is the amazing miraculousness that can happen in life when you're willing to take a look at, am I in awakened consciousness state or not? And if not, what will it take to get me there? What do I need to do for this? And that's what we teach here. And this is why, if you hold this as your intention, if you hold this as your focus, taking classes and getting better at this is a really good idea. I study every single day. I practice every single day. I can't let up. Don't want to. It's too powerful a medicine. That would be like forgetting to take your heart pill someday. Why would you do that? And so I focus on, this is my medicine. And I invite you to make it yours. Have it be your medicine of awakening your consciousness. It's in our purpose statement for a reason. It is the most powerful act on the planet. There is nothing greater than our ability to awaken our consciousness in as many moments as we can, as often as we can. And then to keep at it. Because it has been my experience that the more often I keep practicing this stuff, the more often the focus of my attention is on, because last week I talked to you guys about self-care, right? Well, this being the best medicine on the planet, this is great self-care. Awakening your consciousness is incredible self-care. And then you see self-care differently. It actually transforms before you as to what is self-care. What is going on? What do I really need right now? And then you discover that what you really need may not be what you thought you needed. Right? Because in an unwakened state, you may think you need to do, I need to take care of this. I need to be urgent. I need to, this is so important to me. And then all of a sudden you awaken and you go, whoa, look at what I was making important and urgent. Look, and it looks different. And the results you get to have fall into, for any of you who were here when I did the talk on Wu Wei, not forcing anything. If you find yourself in an awakened state, you find ways of creating that you never thought of before. Your soul's intention knows. You find yourself in a state of no doubt. I love that state. No fear, no doubt, no worry. Imagine a pill that could do that. Oh, well, you have to actually work for this. There's practices. And we teach them here. So when we're talking about our mission being teaching spiritual practices that create joy-filled lives, that's what we do to support you in awakening your consciousness. And then we come together in community. And the reason we say awakening consciousness through spiritual community is because when we come together and do this, we feed each other. You feel the energy when you walk in this place? I didn't do that. We all did that. We're all feeling that. We're all creating that. We're doing it together. And isn't that cool? So I invite you to take on an intention in a new year of awakening consciousness. And I promise you that if you do that as a North Star, it will move you forward in that direction in ways you may not even know of right now. It does with me in ways I don't even know of right now. Every year. It has never ceased to amaze me at the creativity that comes out of nowhere in terms of new and fun and powerful ways to awaken our consciousness. So you guys want to do a little meditation on this? All right. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and relax. And as we always start, imagine yourself on a path. It is the perfect path. It is your path. It includes the sounds of nature, of children. Your path includes these beautiful sounds of children. And it takes you to your sanctuary. It is the perfect sanctuary. It is your sanctuary. And in the middle of it is a chair. It is the perfect chair. It's so perfect that when you sit in it, your whole being goes, ah. Take another deep breath and relax even more. And from this place of relaxation, imagine yourself taking on the intention of awakening your consciousness. Imagine what it's like to move through your day in this awakened conscious state. More peace, more loving, more joy, more freedom, less stress, less anxiety, less worry, more health, more well-being from this place of awakened consciousness. And now take something that you do every day anyway, and imagine you're doing it from an awakened consciousness state. And notice the difference between how it normally feels and how it feels when you're doing the same thing, except now you have an awakened consciousness. Notice the difference. Now take another activity that you do every day anyway, and imagine doing it from an awakened consciousness state. And notice the difference. This is the power. This is the presence. This is the medicine that is available to you every moment of every day of your life. Come on back into the room now. After you thank yourself for going through this process, make sure you thank yourself for taking the time to do this. We take our intention and we don't look for it out there. We bring it into what it is we're doing already. Life transforms and life will shift, but we don't have to look for that. That is the side effect of when we take such a powerful intention and bring it into what we're already doing. I recommend an awakened consciousness. You may have other ideas in mind for your intention, but use it as your North Star. Let it carry you through this coming year. Because better is better. As often as you do it, is better. Awakening consciousness through spiritual community. Together. Thank you. I love you.